Today we're going to dive into something very fascinating, and that's the psychology behind marketing and how it helps drive our decision making when making purchases. So now let's unveil some of these secrets so you can either utilize those or try to avoid it as a consumer. And let's start off with the power of emotions in marketing. Have you ever just bought something just because it made you feel good? Well, that's emotional marketing in action. Now take Apple for example. They are phenomenal at doing emotional marketing tactics against us, the consumers. You see, their ads do so much more than just showcasing their products. They build upon our emotions and invoke our buying power by making us feel like we're a part of something. They make us feel innovative and almost like we're a part of some special niche community of other Apple users. After all the products do work seamlessly together. So typically you're going to have things like an iPhone, an iMac, a Mac Mini, an iPad, and all the different products together because of this community marketing that they push out. Another one to consider is Amazon Prime. Think about those Prime Day deals when they push out this sense of urgency to kind of make us want to buy something in a matter of just a click without actually really thinking about it. How many times have you actually done that where you go and make a purchase on an impulse? And it's maybe something that you don't necessarily are needing or wanting, but that impulse buy. Same deal at grocery stores when you're trying to make a checkout. They have all these little grab items by the checkout system. So you will make these impulse decisions to buy things that you maybe didn't have on your list or actually need. Now let's move on to cognitive biases in marketing. These are kind of like mental shortcuts that we often use and most of the time without realizing it. For example, the halo effect. It's often why we trust in products that are endorsed by people that we look up to. These can be athletes promoting Nike, these could be YouTubers promoting their new book, or these could be some other type of celebrities or just people in our lives that we look up to that encourage us to buy something because of that relationship we have with them. To use Apple again as an example, it's the bandwagon effect. When we see other people lining up to get these latest products that are coming out, it makes us feel like that we have to have it too, or just jump on the bandwagon. And think about Spotify. If you're a Spotify user like myself, it also uses the halo effect by doing things like creating custom playlists for you, custom suggestions, and really working that algorithm to create this overall effect that's going to keep you on the app and listening to their music. Now let's talk about psychological triggers in marketing. Scarcity being one of the biggest ones. And I'm sure a lot of you watching today probably remember the toilet paper fiasco of COVID. We started hearing about less and less paper products, especially toilet paper, being available, at least here in the United States, and it was creating this scarcity marketing tactic where people were just going out and buying it in droves for really no reason whatsoever. And social proof is another one of these triggers. Think about it. Before you go make a purchase from Best Buy or Amazon or really any other website, most of the time you're going to look at reviews on certain products to see how well or how not so well these things actually are going to work in your life. And we need those social triggers to help guide our decisions. The only unfortunate part to that, a lot of reviews nowadays are often skewed. So then if we resort to things like YouTube and watch unboxings and product testings and things of that nature, it really helps us make our buying choices a lot easier, but there's so much congestion on the internet already, sometimes it can still be a little bit difficult. Now let's talk about the decision-making process. And understanding the consumer decision-making process is crucial for anyone that works in marketing and or sales. So let's go on with an example that we're probably all familiar with. Let's say that you're going to go buy a new smartphone. First, you recognize the need for this new phone. Then the next step is you're going to research the different models and features that are available that's going to best benefit you in your life. And after comparing the prices, the features, and all the different models, you're finally ready to make your choice and actually make that purchase. And each one of these stages is an opportunity for marketing professionals to target you and guide you along the process to ultimately make that purchase and that sale. Understanding that decision-making process, it really makes life a lot easier for us marketers to be able to target those things because we know how to hit your psyche. And when we see that you're looking at certain aspects, then we just start hitting you with different ads and specs and information on that to help move you along. But all of this does bring up a very valid question. At what point do we draw the line between persuasion when it comes to the psychology of marketing to our consumers. And Dove's Real Beauty campaign is a great example of this, because it empowers rather than preys on insecurities. And as marketers, we must balance persuasion with ethics. And when talking about applying these insights, here's what you can think about. Storytelling at its core is very powerful. Just look at Nike for an example. Nike isn't in the business of selling shoes. They're in the business of selling stories that resonate with others that lead to shoes being purchased. These are emotional connections that Nike is building with their consumers so that the consumers ultimately make the decision to purchase, and Nike isn't necessarily telling them to do so. And think about Netflix's recommendation algorithm. That is content personalization at its best, enhancing user experience and keeping us all engaged so that we stay on their platform and keep watching the videos. Because ultimately that's how they're going to make the money, because the more they can keep you engaged and interested in their content, the longer you're going to stay your subscriber, and the more statistics and analytics that they can give to their investors and their stockholders and their board members, which is ultimately going to just keep filling the pockets of all the people up top. And all this was basically just the tip of the iceberg when we talk about the psychology behind marketing. So when you're creating your next marketing strategy, think about some of these psychological factors that you could incorporate into your marketing plan so that you can see yourself become more successful in selling your products, your services, or just getting a message out when building a brand. But you also need to make sure that you're staying very ethical with this and realize that you are playing on people's emotions. So there's a lot of morality that goes into thinking about these things. But let me know in the comment section below some of these marketing tactics that have gotten you to buy things. I know for me, typically it's things like impulse buys and just plays on emotions, because a lot of the things I buy isn't always things that I need or necessarily want, but they do a good enough job marketing to me that I feel like that I have to have it. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, be sure to create something new today.